Welcome to the very first episode of The Legal Lens, a podcast where we sit down with legal professionals, public servant, and policy leaders to uncover the real journeys behind careers in law and government. I'm your host, Vivian, and I started this podcast to help young people like myself to explore the many paths into public service and hear the stories and advice from those already walking them. So today I'm incredibly excited to kick off our series with someone whose path is very inspiring, Alexander Hsu. Alex is currently a summer associate at Kirkland Ellis, one of the top law firm in the country. He graduated from the University of Georgia with a Bachelor in International Affairs and is currently a 2L at the University of Virginia School of Law. So, Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So we're just gonna jump straight in. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, like more specifically than just what I just like introduced, and what you have been up to recently?
Yeah, so I grew up in Augusta, Georgia. I originally started off wanting to go into STEM, and that's actually what I did going into college. I was in the 7-year BSDMD program at Augusta University before I decided to transfer to UGA and pursue law, um, kind of full time and really be serious about it. And that led me to UGA and then led me to the University of Virginia. And it's led me now here to Kirkland Ellis, where I'm a summer associate. This is, I think, my fifth week. And yeah, just learning more about the law and how to actually practice corporate law, which is not really taught much at law school.
I love that. Why did you decide to switch from STEM to law? It's kind of different.
Yeah, well, growing up, my dad, he is a dental professor at the Dental School of Georgia. And growing up, I was always interested in that and kind of always at the front lines of that, right? Because my dad was very interested in it, and I would go to the lab with him and look through the microscope at things and all that, and found it interesting. And also, uh, Asian parents want you to
Hmm.
get STEM. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the initial push. And once I started actually like shadowing and being more immersed in the STEM world, and especially the dental profession, I realized that it's not something that I'm terribly interested in.
Mm.
And I've always been interested in history, politics, and those kind of subjects naturally lean towards a career in law.
Hmm.
And so I chose law actually because my parents' company was defrauded, and they've been in ongoing litigation for almost 5 years now.
Hmm.
And this occurred right when I started college. And that was when I was still STEM focused. And that really introduced me to law and showed me something that I had really never interacted with before, and uh, made me switch to law to uh, at first I wanted to actually help out and be a part of this case
Yeah.
with my parents. And now that's grown into something that's um, really taken over my life as a law student.
That is so interesting because I personally can resonate with that.
Mhm.
I grew up my entire life liking physics for some reason, like astronomy is, like astrophysics, but then I switched to law. And also my parents just closed a house recently and I got to
Mhm.
watch like the lawyer closing and all the documents
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting. So so in the next two questions, I kind of hope to know more about your college and law school experience. So
Mhm.
um during your college, like in preparation for law school application, UVA law, did you have
Mhm.
any like relevant experience, like internships, broad study abroad, which is what UGA has been offering, or some
Mhm.
interesting courses you that help you stand out in your law school applications at all?
Yeah. So I did study abroad. I took some classes in related courses, like international law.
Mhm.
I did some. I didn't really do any law related internships. Though I'm sure that that'd be very helpful. Um, I would say the most important thing to prepare for law school is uh, so law schools really care about your GPA and your LSAT score. And
Hmm.
so when you're preparing for law school, those two will stand out first, um, especially the LSAT score, and extracurriculars as well. I mean, um, I did an internship with a grassroots political movement, just helping um, canvassing and organizing other like volunteers and stuff.
Hmm.
But I mean, that's not really law related. But as long as you show that you're, gaining some experience, like uh, putting yourself out there to actually do work, showing that you're not just, moping around all the time, putting in some effort, then you should be fine regarding extracurriculars. And if you go above and beyond that, right? I know a lot of law students who were paralegals or interned at other, legal related businesses, and
Hmm.
that's all very helpful. But at the end of the day, um, law schools will look at your LSAT and your GPA. So focus on having a good GPA and take the LSAT seriously.
Hmm.
Um, those are the big two things that I would look out for when you're preparing. And also, if you don't have any family in law or anybody that obviously reach out to people on LinkedIn, or maybe you have some family connections to actually get to know learn to learn more about the legal field, and if that's something that you actually want to do.
Hmm.
Because I know there's a lot of people who uh, are political science or international affairs or something, and they are coming out of college and they're not sure what they want to do. So they're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to go to law school, might as well.
Yeah.
That or a master's. And sometimes a lot of those people regret that because it's a lot of debt.
Yeah.
Uh, and if you don't really know what you're doing or what you're getting into, then you might not be happy with it. So reach out to people who are in the field and learn more about it.
That's something a lot of people need to hear because I've been seeing a lot of people trying to build like a perfect resume, but you
Mhm.
also have to balance like GPA and LSAT, which is really different from like college application because it's like holistic. They see
Yeah,
everything and
yeah,
they
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
so talking about like LSAT, I know you were an LSAT tutor, right?
Yes.
That is really awesome. So, because for me, I kind of had a glimpse of it, and to many people, it's like challenging. So,
Mhm.
did you have somebody helping you when you prepared yourself, or did you like self-study?
Yeah, so I actually looked at Reddit a lot. Unsurprisingly, Reddit has there's a big subreddit of people studying for the LSAT and law students and whatnot, and they have a
Mhm.
lot of helpful resources there. And I used that to kind of get the studying tools that I used. I used a couple websites. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I'm still shouting them out, like LSAT Demon and Seven Sage. Those were super helpful. And so I just kind of self-studied for a little bit. And then I did use a tutor. His name's Dean. He's I think a 3L now at UGA. Smart guy. Great to work with. That's who I worked with to tutor actually when I became a tutor.
Oh,
But
nice.
he was tutoring me first,
Yeah.
and he was very helpful. But tutoring can get expensive,
Hmm.
so I think self-studying is the best. And then when you're kind of plateauing, or if you want to start with tutoring, that's also great. But yeah, I think it's good to just try it out yourself. Um, I would say take it seriously, take it like a job,
Hmm.
right? So it's best if you can. I was lucky because I was able to like take one summer off to just study for the LSAT full time.
Right.
Um, like I didn't do anything. I just woke up, studied LSAT for like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Wow.
It was like 2 months, 2.5 months. Um, and so um, that was really helpful. But I also know people who just studied like after school,
Mhm.
but you have to have a regimented um, like schedule that you're going to commit to, right? You can't just be like,
Mhm.
oh, I feel like studying today, so I'm just going to study today, but tomorrow, you don't. So have a set schedule. Um,
Mhm.
use like resources that are available to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So talking about like the LSAT studying schedule,
Mhm.
so you studied like the summer, like before, was it like what year of college was that?
Yeah, I studied it before my senior year.
Senior year. Oh, nice. So do you think that's like the best time for people to to start studying for LSAT?
Yeah, I think so. It also depends on when you plan on applying to law school,
Right.
because some people work after law school or after undergrad for like a year or two or even longer. Um, but for me, I think that was the best time. Obviously, it's different for everyone else, but I think that was a great time to study uh, because by that point I was committed to law school. Like I knew this is
Right.
what I wanted to do. So, I mean, I could have done like an internship, but I was like, I think, sectioning off this time to really prepare for the LSAT. And I was also like preparing my application materials, so personal
Mhm.
statement, diversity statement, all that. Maybe not diversity statement anymore,
No.
But but yeah, so I think that was a great time. And I know a lot of people who also studied like their junior year or um right before their senior year, so they could take it when their senior year started and then apply like
Mhm.
that fall, and start law school the next fall.
Got it. So talking about like the personal statement as you just mentioned. So um what was like your experience writing like that essay and like like what do you write about or like how do you find your purpose,
Mhm.
whatever that this essay demands you to do? How was your
Yeah,
experience?
so you want to show law schools why you want to be a lawyer.
Hmm.
So have a story for what led you to wanting to practice law. Um, for me, I wrote about my parents' business being defrauded and how I was uh, on the front lines of that. Like I was getting myself involved, like sitting in on meetings, helping like look through texts and emails for evidence.
Hmm.
Um, and just talking with the lawyer, learning about what he does. So that was what I wrote about, and then how I was going to use those skills, and how I was going to how I'm like that's where my determination comes from to be a lawyer. So that statement is kind of a opportunity for you to showcase why you want to go to law school and what your experiences what skills you got from your experiences that would transfer over to you being a good lawyer and a good law student.
I like your story of like the family and stuff. That's really niche, I
Mhm.
think. So speaking about like GPA, I know like there are like different studying methods to, for international affair or maybe political science, probably for like those social studies major.
Mhm.
What do you think is like the best studying method? So like what helped you get like a good GPA for law school?
Yeah, honestly, one of the things that this is like honest advice. Just go and try and find like the easiest classes you can. Um, Obviously challenge yourself and take interesting classes when you want. Like I took an accounting course, and it was pretty tough. But it was because I was thinking about maybe doing business. But it was very interesting and helpful too for corporate law.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like rate my professor, like ask what people think of X professor or X
Hmm.
class, and just try to take the easiest class you can, right? Because these law schools, they're not going to go look at your what classes you took, right? They're just going to see your
Hmm.
major. I mean, they can look if they really wanted to, but yeah, they're going to look at your major, your GPA, and that's gonna be it. And if you're a STEM or you're like doing a harder major, they might give you a little bit of a bump, but um, a 4.0 is a 4.0, like a 3.5 is a 3.5. Um, so yeah, just take easy classes. And if you're taking challenging classes, obviously that I mean, obviously try to challenge yourself too, right? Um, when it comes to studying, what I like to do is like my dad always told me you only know something if you can teach someone else that. Um,
Mm,
so when you're studying material uh, and you're reviewing it, the best way to review I found is like teaching somebody else. So I mean that could mean teaching my cat, right? I'm telling him about I don't know LIFO FIFO, right, for accounting, and like just being able to like rehearse that back to somebody or regurgitate that back to somebody shows that you know it. So, like, I was also a tutor, a regular tutor, not an
mhm.
LSAT tutor in college, and that was also helpful for actually learning the material because
Yeah.
I was learning how to teach people that. And when you do that, then you've already, uh, you know, analyzed it
Mhm,
and cemented that in your head. Also, like after class, go home and review your notes like right
mhm,
after.
mhm.
Because that'll really like make it stick. Pay attention to class, go to class. Uh, yeah.
That's a really honest answer because, yeah, because I heard that law school don't look at if the classes are hard or not. So then
No.
they're just gonna look at your GPA.
Mhm.
And also I sometimes study by like talking to myself, which sounds kind of crazy, but it's not as helpful as like teaching somebody.
Mhm.
But I just like talk to myself to kind of clear things out. So it's kind of stupid, but
No, no. If it works, it works.
yeah. So I'm kind of curious about like, when it comes to like professor classmates in college,
Mhm.
was building connections like actively doing that with like professor classmate or even like alum important,
Mhm.
do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you'll meet a lot of people in college, and you'll make a lot of connections.
Hmm.
And keeping those connections is very important, not just for law school, but for life. Like you'll be going to a great school, right? UJ is a great school, and you'll meet people who are, working for, ex-senator or at some, big think tank or
Yeah.
working at some big accounting firm or, doing consulting and whatnot, finance in New York. So keeping those
Mhm.
connections is also very important for just when you're in your career, right? When it comes to law school specifically, get close to professors that you like, right? If you like a professor, go and talk to them after class or in office hours, right? Go take their classes. Maybe ask if you can do some research with them, right? Ask them for a coffee or lunch because those professors, they're in it for you. So when you're applying to law school and
Mhm.
you ask them for a recommendation letter, they're not just going to give you some generic recommendation letter they
Yeah.
give for every student, right? They're going to say, I know this person and I, like heartily recommend this person. And law schools take that seriously. They look at letters of recs.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, obviously not as it doesn't matter as much as like your GPA or LSAT or something, right? But those are very important because that's a way they can gauge what you are like as a person. So definitely try to make connections with professors when you can. Um, and if you're a regular student and you have a professor that you like, right? You will go and try to interact with them more, right? Even if you're not going to get, breakfast or something or whatnot.
Right.
I never did that. But you'll take more of their classes, right? You'll, talk to them after class and uh build a relationship with
Hmm.
professors. So yeah, very important for law school and your life.
That's a really good advice. So now as we like transition to like law school, like your law school experience, which is
Mhm.
has been only been a year. So, um, also I have like a random question. How did you find the best law school for you? Like, why did you choose UVA?
Mhm. Well, yeah, of course. So I mean, UV is a great school, obviously, and
Hmm.
that's one of the big draws for me. I also really liked the vibes of the people when I went and visited, and everyone that I talked to. Um, if you do a little bit more research, UVA is like gosh, this is gonna sound cringe, but like we're like the fun school at
Uh,
in the 214 and like the very collegial school, right? So
mm,
everyone's friendly. No one is. I'm sure you might have heard of or you will hear of like some horror stories from law schools, like people. like hiding books
Oh
or
my gosh.
tearing pages out of their notes and sending it to people or sending people the wrong things, right? Actively sabotaging classmates. That does not happen at UVA. Everyone's nice. Everyone respects. Uh, when I say everyone, I mean like usually everyone. Obviously, you have
Hmm.
maybe one or two, a
Of
couple outliers,
course.
but yeah, everyone is nice. Everyone um, wants to see you succeed, especially like the professors and the teachers or and
Hmm.
the administrators. Also, I liked UVA. I like the city, Charlottesville. It's kind of. Have you spent much time in Athens?
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a smaller Athens.
Small Athens. I like
Yeah,
Athens actually. It's like there are like a lot of shops and restaurants around. Really convenient.
yeah, and then like it's a college town, right?
Hmm.
Um, and which is another reason why UVA is actually very collegial because unlike schools like NYU or Columbia or UPenn, right?
Right.
You're not in a huge city. So everyone's kind of forced to get along with each other, right? You can't just
That's true.
go missing for, a couple of weeks with your, friends who moved to New York, right? No one's moving to Charlottesville after
Hmm.
graduation, right? So you get close with all your classmates, and that's a great thing to have. And I also looked at employment like numbers.
Right. That's
So
important.
yeah. So if you
Hmm.
want to do like big law, right, or if you want to do federal clerkship, UVA is a great place for both. And also look at where like these students are going
Hmm.
after they graduate. UVA sends a lot of people to DC, for instance.
Hmm.
So if you want to get into DC, big law market, or like a federal clerkship in DC, UVA is like the place to go. But if you're like going to Berkeley, right, you're going to be
Hmm.
probably going to like a California law firm or clerking
Okay.
in California or somewhere on the West Coast.
Hmm.
So location matters. Um, I mean, obviously you can go everywhere, especially in a school like UVA or Berkeley or whatnot, but most people will be going in that region, and that's where all most of the alum is going to be as well.
Right.
So,
Um, got it. So like at UVA, right?
mhm.
Um, were there any like negative parts about it or challenges for those might be considering applying there?
I wouldn't say there's anything UVA specific. Uh, I had a great time. Everyone that I know had a great time.
Hmm.
Obviously, going into law school, right, is a challenge, and law school, especially the first semester, first year, is a challenge. It's a grind. So there's nothing UVA centric, but just general like law school difficulties, right, that everyone struggles with.
Right. So was the Socratic method like true? Like people calling, like professor calling you on the spot, stuff like that?
Yeah, some professors, most professors, uh, especially your one, I think they want to,
Wow.
like introduce you a little bit to law school. So uh, they give you a lot of professors who will do that. So
Mhm.
you have to be prepared for class. And yeah, they're just calling you randomly to ask questions in front of the whole class. So you have to be prepared,
Mhm.
or you might look a little stupid. But no one cares, right? Everyone
Mhm.
looks stupid doing it for the first time. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It is. I was actually afraid of it, but my advice is this is not something to be afraid of because it's
Right.
not. No one cares. It won't affect your grade. If
Mhm.
you do terribly, no one's going to remember. Um, yeah, so no pressure for the Socratic method, but you will face it. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So like, there are so many like different law related fields. Did you decide to do corporate, like big law when you were in 1L, or like was it in college that you decided to do corporate law?
Yeah, it was in college.
Nice. What made you decide to do corporate? Because like it's very demanding, and
Mhm.
you do make money from it, but like were there any other parts that kind of drew you into corporate?
So yeah, I guess my first answer would be watching like my parents' company like grow and stuff, and that was very fun. And corporate law, uh, the actual practice is you're helping companies for the most part. You're helping
Hmm.
companies grow and buy other companies and or grow internally, whatnot.
Hmm.
Uh, and so being on the front lines of that is very rewarding, right? You're doing huge deals with important clients. Uh,
Hmm.
and so, and you make a lot of great connections, gain great experience. Big law is the best place to gain real world experience, doing corporate law, doing litigation, right? Because you're handling the best cases, um, and the most complex, right? So if you love problem solving, if you love being creative, if you love, uh, being a part of something that's much bigger than yourself, then Big Law is a great place to start out. And there's so many great exit opportunities for Big Law
Right.
compared to, like I don't know, like a personal injury law firm, right?
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with that, of course. But like if you want to be in like uh, the general counsel's office at a Fortune 500 company, right? Big Law is where you want to start out.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and so that's kind of my first answer. My second answer is, um, like, I mean, like the money, right? It's a lot of money. And especially someone graduating from law school, like you have debt, right? That you need to pay
Yeah.
off. And that's the best place, that's the best way to pay off debt. Unless you do, there's like also some other avenues you can do it. That's not big law, but uh, I mean, the money's a big draw, obviously. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat my answer or anything. That's one of the reasons why. One of the big reasons why. Uh, yeah, sorry to sound, yeah, bad, like a bad person, or whatever, but
No, not at all. That sounds good because I do want to retire my parents someday, and
yeah,
there
exactly.
are options.
Hmm.
So, what drew you like specifically to like Kirkland? I know it's like one of the probably like one of the biggest like law firm in the country, and I personally know Kirkland before knowing other law firm for some reason. It's just a name. So yeah, what drew you to Kirkland?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest draws to me was the people. So at UVA, they have a great professional development program, right?
Mm.
And they have big law firms, government agencies, judges, whatnot, that come up all the time to Charlottesville to recruit 1Ls. And it's
Mm.
getting earlier and earlier. And so I was doing recruiting for my 1L summer in like October. And I was able to meet a lot of different attorneys. And when the Kirkland folks came, I went out to dinner with them and I had a great time. I loved everyone that I talked to. And some of us went out afterwards with them. It was a fun time. And after that, I was also able to speak with some other Kirkland attorneys at the office that I'm at right now, Dallas.
Hmm.
And I liked all the people. They seemed like people that I would like to work with, and not just work with, to be friends with, right?
Hmm.
Because at this job, there's some nights where you'll be at the office till like I don't know,
Yeah.
very late, right? And
Hmm.
so when you're picking a law firm, you should be thinking, if I'm in that situation, who would I want to be stuck at in the office with, you know? And if you're like, I don't know if I can do it with this guy at this firm, then maybe that firm's not right for you, right? And everyone's gonna say this if you ask people, they'll be like, "Oh, the people, right? The people." Another great reason is just the work that Kirkland does. I mean, Kirkland is a great firm, and they're handling like you know the the best cases. At least that's what they
Right.
told me at orientation and stuff. So they're handling like the best cases, but I mean they're also handling like factually like the like when it comes to money, the biggest cases and the
Mhm.
biggest deals, right? All these mergers and stuff that you hear in the newspaper, these huge deals. Kirkland is on a lot of that, right? And a lot of these
Mhm.
other pure law firms are on that too. And so that's exciting, right? You get to work with huge clients, very important clients. Uh, I mean, we do a lot of private equity work, so if you're interested in that, I mean, I know private equity doesn't sound great, And I mean, I didn't know too much about it, but yeah, we handle a lot of private equity stuff. Also for a lot of you know, other public companies too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say the people's the most important.
The people. Got it. So, I'm curious, like, other than like them coming to, you know, college campuses for recruitment, can you walk through like the process in general of applying for and like interviewing? Because I don't know why, but like from a lot of movies, a lot of online internet stuff saying interview is very tedious, for
Mhm.
like a summer associate role.
Yeah. So what they'll usually do is you apply, right? And they'll give you, if they like your stats or whatever, your peer application stuff, they'll set up like a screener interview, which is,
Mm,
15, 20 minutes, one-on-one with like an attorney or a recruiter.
mhm.
And usually it's just a casual conversation.
Right.
Um, they'll ask you some questions, right? But I was never really hit with any like, tell me about a time where you worked with a team, and I hate those questions.
Right.
Uh, and so something like that, right? Just having a casual conversation, make sure you have questions prepared for them, because they'll ask you if you have any questions,
Mm,
and just try to make a good first impression. And if they like you after that, they'll give you a callback interview. And this can be either virtual or they'll fly you out, which is pretty fun. They'll fly
wow,
you out, they'll put you in a very nice hotel,
that's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, take you out to a nice dinner, and you'll have like an interview day, right? And so you'll have like four back-to-back interviews, about 30 minutes each, with like associates, partners, maybe the hiring partner.
Wow.
And this is also very informal. I mean, it depends on the lawyer, but all the ones that I had
Hmm.
really informal, just casual conversation, like, oh, how are you liking law school, right? How, what are some of your favorite courses that you've taken at law school? Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself. So have all that stuff kind of prepared, I guess. Um, yeah. Oh, one important thing, have a narrative, because you'll have this when you're applying.
Hmm.
So, and also when you're interviewing, right? Because you will get asked like, what made you become a lawyer, right? Or tell me a little bit
Hmm.
about yourself. What made
Hmm.
you choose law school, etc.
Hmm.
So have like your story prepared. I took mine off my personal statement that I wrote for law school and just
Hmm.
put in different things and adjusted it a little bit. But have like a narrative of why you want to do law, what made you pick your law school, what makes you interested in, this firm.
Hmm.
Um, what kind of work do you want to do, right? Do you want to do corporate work? Do you want to do litigation? Um, and when you're looking at like why you want to be at this firm, right? You can go look at like Chambers USA. They do like a ranking for the type of work firms do.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, I saw your restructuring practice is like number one in the country, and I'm interested in restructuring. I don't know if you are,
Mhm.
but yeah, like do a little bit of research on like your interviewers too, because you'll get a
Mhm.
list of them. So just know a little bit about them, um, kind of what they do, right? Uh, just show interest in the firm and show that you did a little bit of research.
Mhm.
Show that you put effort into it, right? And you'll be
Right.
fine. It's all pretty casual. Because by that stage, right, if you're getting a callback or you're getting a screener, it's usually because they've seen your stats,
Mhm.
like your grades or whatnot, and or your resume and your personal statement, and they liked it. So you don't really have to go and prove that like you know you're so smart or something. They just want to see that you're a normal person who can have a conversation and not like a dick, right? Or like someone that they wouldn't want to be working with.
Right. Because I know a lot of people started applying to like if they want to go to big law, it's gonna probably like after 2L. But you got in like after 1L, which is like very incredible. So what do you think like got you in? Like maybe some experience or skills that you think that that stood you out?
Hmm. Um, yeah, so a lot of actual 1L hiring
Mhm.
and 2L hiring, it depends on like grades for 1L fall, which is why 1L fall is so important. And it varies by school, right? So if you're in like a school like Virginia, um, you can get like a 1L summer if you're, oh, I don't really know the specifics, but I mean, if you're like at the median, you could get a 1L. You should be fine. If you're above the median, like that helps a lot. And it also depends
Mhm.
what market you're in, right? Like I'm in
Ah,
Texas, so it's easier to get a 1L offer because Texas is a booming market, right?
you're
So they're
right.
looking for a bunch of, summers and interns. But
Mhm.
if you're applying to DC for the summer, it's
Ah,
definitely a lot harder, right? Or New
mhm.
York, right? It's a lot harder.
Right.
And grades matter a little bit more. They have like maybe higher
Mhm.
cutoffs. Um, I'm not 100% sure, like grade wise, but um, before that, obviously, your personal statement that you sent to them, um, your like resume,
Mhm.
and I mean, some firms even ask for like my LSAT.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, they'll ask for like your college GPA too.
Mm.
Um, yeah, they like to see that you've worked, like have some experience, right? Not just like not just like actual like after college work, right? Because I didn't have any.
Mhm.
They look like internships and stuff, and they also value, from what I've heard, like if you worked at Five Guys in high school or something, or
Yeah.
Starbucks or whatnot, right? They like to see that because it shows that um, you've actually done work and uh, you can handle it, right?
Mhm.
And so yeah, and right now application process is getting earlier and earlier. So
Right.
the recruiting for 1L summer starts in your 1L fall,
Mm.
and the
It's very early.
recruiting for your 2L summer starts uh, low-key starts in the end of fall, but it really ramps up um, in 1L spring,
Mhm.
uh, and then kind of
Mm.
culminates in your 1L summer. So by the end of your 1L summer, you should know where you're going for
Where you
2L
going?
and then essentially where you're going to start out
Uh,
after law school.
right. Thank you for the advice. That's very like helpful for me and for many other people. Very important question here. I really want to know, like how big law, like they portray it from Suits and like the day in
Mhm.
the life. So, what is like your real day in the life as a summer associate?
Okay, so as a summer associate, uh, when you're a summer associate, firms are trying to convince you to stay and to sign on for, next year,
Hmm.
which essentially means for uh, after law school, right? So a summer associate is mainly getting like wined and dined for the whole summer. Um,
Oh,
so we get paid the same as a first year associate,
wow.
and um, obviously there's opportunities to do work, right? But most of it is like going to events, meeting people, other summers, meeting like the attorneys and partners,
Mm.
building a connection with them, right? Because it's also where you try to find out what practice group you want to be in. Who do you want to
Uh,
work with? And that's
right.
especially important at Kirkland because Kirkland's style is like very connection based.
Mm.
Um, it's not like you get assigned work by like some, overhead person, but it's like the connections you make, they'll assign you work because they want to work with you and they like you and you've, talked with them before and have a relationship with them or something, right?
Hmm.
So my average day is like I go into work around like 9.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes we'll have like events, right? Like you'll learn about this practice group, right?
Hmm.
Or the firm has a firm-wide presentation about, I don't know, big law jargon for M&A. Um, but yeah, like I go to 9 a.m., I'll go to breakfast.
Hmm.
Kirkland's very nice. They have like a free breakfast, free lunch,
Wow.
a bunch of like free snacks, free ice cream, any type of drinks you can think of. Like they have smoothies, protein shakes, like sweet tea, Gatorades, like sodas, um, water, tea, coffee.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, they have some of the candy. They have beer on tap. I've never partaken in that. They have a whole like full bar upstairs.
Oh my God.
Uh, yeah, great amenities at Kirkland. I mean, they want to keep you in the office, right? They want to keep you
Yeah,
working.
of course.
There's a gym there too. Um, yeah, so I'll go and have breakfast, go back to like my desk, which is at like a bullpen with all the other
Mm,
summers.
yep.
Do some work, right? Send some emails, etc. Um, and then usually we'll get taken out to lunch. You can go pop by an associate's office, like knock on his door, hey man, you want to come to lunch today? And they'll come and just reimburse, and then we'll come back, we'll do work, whatever. Sometimes we've been playing Secret Voldemort at the in the bullpen a little bit. So sometimes we do that in the afternoon. Um, and then we get off at like 5. Uh, and then some nights you'll have like an event. Like
Mm,
this week we're going to like a baseball game, and last week we had casino night. Um, and then some nights you'll have like dinner at like very nice
right.
restaurants, like restaurants that I have never been to, Like I never had the
Yeah.
money to go to.
Yeah.
Like very nice steakhouses and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, you go home and rest and recuperate for the next day. And you do actually do some real work too.
Mm,
But you at Kirkland, you have to go seek it out, right? If you're just lazy, don't do anything, then you can get by during the summer not doing any work, right? Which is
mm.
nothing wrong with that. But like, I'll go and like email, like Kirkland will give you an associate mentor and a partner mentor.
Oh,
So you
nice.
go, yeah.
It's
So like,
useful.
yeah, yeah. And you just go talk with them, like stop by their office, like, hey, you got any work that I can do, or you have any calls that I can sit in.
Mhm,
And everyone loves to help people out, right? Um, Everyone's open to like sitting down with you and going over something that you just worked on. Like I drafted an NDA, and
mm,
I just go ask for feedback and how I did, tips, whatnot. And so there's chances for you to really learn things too. And that's also an important part of the summer, right? It's not just fun,
mhm.
but a lot of it is just fun. Yeah.
That is so nice. And you're right, the people, like all the opportunities to connect with other people who are like just as like-minded. I think that's like
Mhm.
something that's really interesting to know. Since we're short on time, my last question is, I know you're very brutally honest with all of your answers. Do you have any like more brutally honest piece of advice for, someone aiming for a big law that you haven't covered? Is there anything they should do in undergrad or in probably early in law school to prepare for a job like that?
Yeah. So I think the most important things are getting, like I said, it's like getting a good GPA, a good LSAT score, and getting into a good law school, right? Because what law school you go to will determine your chances of getting into big law. So,
Mm,
um, like if you want to get into big law, your best chance would be to increase your chances, right? You want to get into the very best law school you can, which means getting the best LSAT score and the best GPA you can. Um, because where you go to law school, that will determine if you get into big law. So, like if you go to like I don't know, I don't want to name drop any colleges or law schools, of course. But let's say you go to like a law school ranked in like 100 or something, right?
mm,
The chances of you getting big law are super low, right? Like you have to be like top of the class, like
right.
top 5, top 10, right?
Mm,
To have a shot at being in big law. But
mm.
if you're at like a top 14, which is kind of like the
Yeah,
classification, right?
C14.
Yeah, T14, there's like T20, right?
Yeah.
Then the chances of you getting into a big law is it's much higher, right? So
Mm,
you don't have to be top of class, first of all, right? You could be, like top 50%, top 60%, top
mm,
75. Like some schools, like UVA, I feel like if you want big law, you can get big law easy.
mm.
Just don't, be an idiot and get all C's or something. But no one does that, right? Because everyone at law school are secretly
Very,
nerds
yeah,
or
right.
outwardly very nerdy, which is not a bad thing. Um, and so yeah, like my brutally honest take is like if you want to get into big law, get a great GPA, get a great LSAT, and go to a great school. And if you're at like a lower tier school, it's gonna be a lot harder. Like just being honest, like it'll be a lot harder. You're gonna have to put in a lot more work. It's gonna be very
Mhm.
competitive. Um, so I would say in your undergrad, like really focus on getting that good GPA. And when it comes
Mhm.
to LSAT studying, like take it seriously. Like take it super seriously.
Right.
Um, yeah.
That is very helpful. Yeah, I did see a trend of people going to big law and then their law school,
Mhm.
like the law school that they went to and then their current job at like big laws. I did see a trend that they mostly they go to like T14, T20. So
Yeah.
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 Um, I think that's all of my questions for today. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love your responses. They're really cool. Um, Personally, I learn a lot from like this interview because I'm like a pre-law student. Like pre-law is
Mhm.
like a title thing, but it's not nothing that special. It's just like me doing
Yeah.
something that's preparing me for law school. So I hope that like whether the people watching this like they go to high school, they're thinking about like a major or a college major or like a law school, they could like learn something from it. And I
Mhm.
personally did. So I'm just gonna do an outro. So if you enjoyed this episode, you would like to help support this podcast, please consider subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with a friend. To stay up to date, you can follow us on Instagram at the legal lens dot underscore. And as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. I'm just gonna close this.